Let's talk about the substitution method. It's something to help us when we end up with something that is not something that we are used to seeing, to be able to factor it. So when I look at something like this, I look at it and I go, I cannot, so this is 8 times the quantity z plus 5 squared minus 2 times the quantity z plus 5 minus 3. I cannot really figure out how to factor it. If I look at it, the greatest common factor, and go through all my rules, it doesn't fit any model that I know yet. So we have something called the substitution method, and this is to allow us to make it easier for us to see and know what to do with. So I'm going to say let x, and always make that the letter that you're using is different than any letter that's in what you're substituting. It cannot, under any circumstances, be the same letter, or you'll just get super confused. Make sure you're using a different letter. So, equals the quantity z plus 5. Now, wherever I have the quantity z plus 5, I'm going to put an x instead. So 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. Well, now this is something I know how to factor. We've been doing this for several lessons now. So let's look at this and say rule number 1. Is there any greatest common factor? There is not. Rule number 2, is it a special factoring form? Nope. Rule number 3, is it a trinomial? Well, it is, but it's 3b because this is not a one coefficient. So let's follow our rule for 3b. 8 times 3 is 24. Let's find all our factors of 24. 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6, 5 doesn't go into it. 6 does, but I already have that. So I think it needs to be this. It'd have to be a positive 4 and a negative 6. Let's check my two steps. When I add these two together, positive 4 minus 6, does that give me a negative 2? Yes, it does. And last critical step, positive times a negative is a negative, and that's what this is. So we're good to go. Let's stretch our middle term. 8x squared. I think the 6 is going to go well with the 3, so I'll put the 4 with the 8. X minus 6x minus 3. Now we'll factor by grouping. So I can get 4x out. That leaves me with 2x plus 1. Factor out a negative, and I can get a 3. Remember, that'll make both signs change. So that gives me a positive 2x and a positive 1. And so then I have my greatest common factor of the quantity 2x minus 1, and I'm left with 4x minus 3, and I'm done. Oh, wait, I'm not done, because I'm not looking for x, I'm looking for z. So I substituted this in, the x in for the z plus 5. Now that this is fully factored down here, I need to substitute the z plus 5 back in for the x. And in this case, I need to be very careful because these are being multiplied by things. So I'm going to have 2 times, what is it again? Z plus 5. Z plus 5, that's my x, plus 1. That's just my first term. Now let's do the second term. 4 times z plus 5 minus 3. Now I just need to finish up whatever I can do in here. So this is multiplying. So I just multiply it through and then add the 1. So 2z plus 10 plus 1 and 4z plus 20 minus 3. I still have these two like terms, so plus 11, and I've got these two like terms, so 4z plus 17, and there now this is fully factored into this. There you go. That's the substitution method. Practice it well. It's a very, very important concept that you will have to use in 121.